This episode of the Sit Down Podcast is brought to you by Inspired Vapor Company. They've got 3 locations in Saskatchewan, one in Melfort, one in Prince Albert, and in Humboldt, Saskatchewan. You guys can get all your vaping supplies there or online at inspiredvaporcompany.com and use the promo code MOOSE10 at checkout, online or in store for 10% off. Freaking right.
Cool.
Mr. Marc Butler. Pleasure to meet you, even though it is on Zoom, my friend.
Yeah, no, you guys too. Absolutely. Yeah, I've been following you guys for a little bit, actually.
Heck yeah.
Hi, this is Marc Butler, and I'm from Dogpatch Music Festival, and this is episode 121 of the Sit Down Podcast.
So I watch a lot of podcasts and like a lot of comedy ones, right? From the States. And what I've noticed is that whenever these guys they'll do a comedy special on Netflix or whatever, they do like the circuit. So they're on, like, I'll give you an example. If Joe Rogan's releasing a special on Netflix, what he'll do is he'll hit up all these comedy podcasts in promotion for the Netflix special, right? And I see them doing this all like across the board. They all got each other's backs. And I've been talking with Marc and everything. I'm like, we should be able to do something like that too. Like, why are we not promoting other music festivals? Like, why don't we have like Dogpatch on and have them as a guest and talk about them and promote them?
Because it's competition.
Well, that's just it. I am not about competition.
Yeah, that's such bullshit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, am I allowed to say shit? I don't know.
Oh yeah,
you can say whatever the hell you want.
You're recording, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, cool. Well, yeah, no, I'm totally the same way, but I've been involved. Like, I was involved in one major festival before, and as soon as they found out that I was doing another festival, all of a sudden I was kind of shunned, right? So
Really?
Totally 100%. But I'm totally about bringing other festivals into the mix 100%. Like, I advertise the hell out of any festivals that I can, because I think it's great, right? Like,
well,
yeah,
we're all doing it for the it's all for the same purpose and reason, right?
Oh, dude, totally. Like, I've done nothing but go in debt with people, and I'll never quit until I can't do it anymore. Like, I'll never quit. I've never made a penny on my ever.
Yeah, well, the way we've been, like, this is our second one. So, like we say too, like, breaking even to us is a huge success.
Yeah, that's a win.
Right? Like, we're not all the money that it generates just goes back into the event to make it bigger and better and grander. So it's like, we've had people asking us, well, what are you fundraising for? Well, what are you talking about? We're fundraising for Moosefest. Like, this is what we're doing it for. Yeah, for sure.
I actually had a guy ask me that today, like, buying tickets, right? Well, because I am a nonprofit, so my old man was an American, like, Vietnam veteran, right? So I do, if I make any money, it does go to the Wounded Warriors, right? Just so I can help those guys out, like, here in Canada. Right.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Like, we're still pretty green in it. Like I said, this is only our second one, so we haven't hit, like, we're not in the green yet. We haven't been. Yeah, as you know how it goes, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Totally. So, well, see, and like, I was lucky enough that in my beginning years, I had some incredible, like, I had the Dead South, I had Coulter Wall before anybody knew who they were, right?
Yeah.
I mean, good luck having it now, unless you want to pay, like, a lot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, that's exactly it. And, you know, we've had those discussions too of like, oh, like, and people tell us, oh, you should have a headliner, like, get Monster Truck or get the Trues or all this. And we've definitely entertained that idea and had long winded discussions about it. And it really doesn't fit for this year, because that's not what Moosefest is about. I all the bands that we've booked, I told them, I was like, I don't give a shit if there's 10 people there or 1,000 or 100,000. Like play for the world. You know what I mean? Like we're bringing you guys in because we admire you. We're fans of yours, and we want to promote you. We want you guys to rock out.
Yeah, and to us, it doesn't really make sense to have, add that headliner to draw in a crowd because, well, that crowd is just going to pay for that headliner, and then you're back to square one or whatever.
You pay $30,000 to get a headlining act, and then that's however many extra tickets you got to sell to do it, and then what, to break even anyway?
Yeah,
like we're promoting the indie arts, right? You get it.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. Like I know myself, I've come across some shitty luck, which turned into bad luck. Like I lost both my parents in the last 6 years. My mom just passed away in November, but we were like ranchers and stuff forever, and we, like the family did pretty well. So now, there's money coming in, and I want to put more into this, right? So then like I've always tried to bring in kind of a headliner. Like I had Baldy come up and play, for Christ's sake, but my headliners that I have are like super affordable. I wish I could get the $30,000 headliners, but it's not a thing. But like for me, for instance, like I just went and saw Corb Lund, right, in Saskatoon, and like what a champion. That guy's like from the smalls to do is awesome. And I would love to bring him in, right? But then you have to think about your demographic, right? Who's going to support you? So I'll be honest, the first 2 years of Dogpatch, I was going a completely different direction. And we had like DJs out here, and it was like, it just wasn't where it should have been for me, like for my vision. And because I always wanted to just bring people together. The whole reason I started this was because I saw like people in my community not talking for like, because farmers are fighting over 10 bushels of grain or something, right? So it was like, let's bring everyone together and have a few beers. Let's have a good time listening to music. But then it just went off kind of the deep end, trying to, I don't know, like copy other festivals almost. And we got to have like the craziness and yeah, it just wasn't what I wanted to do. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, because some festivals do that. It's friggin' awesome, right? But I got it brought back in and doing what I'm doing now. So like mine is mostly aimed towards like families with kids. Like the first thing I built was the big kids park, and I built the festival around that so that everybody can watch their kids, right?
Yeah.
Because I grew up in the 70s with my parents taking me to folk fests and like rock concerts and stuff, and like there was always something for kids to do, and the parents could go do their thing and the kids would be safe. But in the past, say like 20 years, I wouldn't take my kids to certain festivals. Like there's no way, right? So yeah, I just want to be that place, right? And then older folks and stuff can come and do their thing, but then at like 11 o'clock I'll throw on like, maybe I'll do a pop punk band or whatever, like just to kind of throw the mix in it, right?
Oh, dude, that's awesome. How many, sorry, I don't know if you said this already. How many years has Dogpatch been running?
Since 2014.
All right. Okay. So what is that? Eight years, right?
Years, yeah.
This will be year 8 or 9.
Yeah. Well, I mean, then we went through 2020 and 2021, right? Which were kind of like dead.
Right.
I guess so, yeah.
So then technically this would be the 6th, technically, right?
Yeah. But honestly, I did something every year. Even during COVID, I just did something for the musicians.
Right.
So we all did our thing, and we were all like, we social distance, we did all that stuff. But I probably had like 50 people out here, probably shouldn't have, but but it was just playing for musicians because they were going nuts, right? Like they had to do something, and I'm like, well, like fuck it, let's do something here on the grounds. They're here, so let's let her buck. And it was absolutely amazing. So and then last year I think I did like 4 smaller shows, right? With like, well, I guess like I think the most I had was like 16 bands at one show, so it wasn't that small, but
right.
And,
so
okay. So before we continue, we forgot the intro.
Well, that's okay. I was gonna catch it at the end.
Oh, okay.
We can do the intros at the end too.
but we're gonna forget at the end.
I'm not gonna. This
Yeah.
is awesome though. This is the stuff. This is why we got you here, my friend.
I know.
Like
I know.
I'm just keep going. Like
Yeah,
so,
well,
but
Do you guys have anything going on like July 22nd? Are you guys busy? Or are you doing?
July 22nd.
I can't check because my phone is the camera.
I think I'm going to this music festival called Dogpatch.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
okay.
I've purchased my tickets already.
Oh shit, dude! Did you really purchase your tickets already? Oh,
I totally
man,
did.
'cause I was gonna
The night that we started talking, like on Instagram, I think I was talking with Susan, maybe.
Yeah, Suzanne.
Yeah, Suzanne. When I pitched the idea of having you guys come on the show and stuff, and I think it was, I don't remember if it was before or after I pitched that idea, but that was the night I bought my ticket. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna go. Like a lot of my friends are gonna be there. Like I know.
Yeah.
And like I looked at the bands that you've got going there, and shit, a few of them have been guests on the show already and everything. And I'm like, hell yeah, man, this is gonna be an awesome weekend. So yeah, man, I'm 100%. I'm gonna be there with some friends.
Oh, I'll make sure that you guys are like backstage and hanging out. You guys can do whatever you want. If you guys want to even like interview people or do whatever you want to do, you're like more than welcome. You can use my pub, whatever.
Oh, that could be, there could be something there. I'll be honest with you though. When I go to an event or a festival, like the last thing I want to do is work. You know what I mean? I'm there to just let loose and have a good time and enjoy the festival and just be in the moment. I've actually tried this year, or in the last few months, I told myself in my head, I'm not going to take videos or pictures of the bands on stage anymore, because I'm like, I refuse to. I'm going to be in the moment. And I haven't done it yet. I haven't done it yet, man. I'm like, oh, I got to get this, you know? So I'm one of those people grabbing a freaking screen grab or whatever, but I'm working on it. I've cut down a lot because like, I very rarely, I post some of that footage, but I don't feel right doing that. Like if I'm recording a whole song from a band, I'm sending it to that band after. Like, this is what I got. Do what you want with it. You know, I might throw a little blast or a 30-second clip of it up there or something, but I don't feel right doing that because it's not for me to do. Some bands like that, some don't. So I just, out of respect, it's like, hey, I've got this. Like, I might use it, I might not. I've got so much freaking live footage, man. But that's just it, because then I'm not in the moment. I'm standing there looking at a screen on my phone, you know, when I'm 10 feet away from the stage and I'm looking up at my phone, for crying out loud. It's like, what am I doing? I need to just enjoy it.
Yep.
Well, and that's the thing. Like I have people that at the festival, they do that, right? I mean, I have a photographer, I've got a videographer. Well, you guys know, like the Prehistoric gang, right? So
yeah, you betcha. Yeah, shout out to those guys who will be at Moosefest this year as well. Actually, one of my friends that are going to Dogpatch is some of the Prehistoric guys, or maybe all of them. One in particular, Andrew's coming, so I think him and I are going to be hanging out that all weekend. Love
Andrew's
that guy.
Like, yeah, he's one of my best friends on the planet, and I'm like old enough to be his dad, and we just he like it's so funny because he found me because I was like, so as you guys probably understand, when you start a festival, you're so into it, right? Like everything's about that moment, and I just wanted to bring people together, and he saw that right off the hop. And he was in year one, like 2014, he was there, right? Like and he's never left. Like those guys are all of Prehistoric Productions, shout out huge. They're just really good guys, all of them. Like I can't say enough good stuff about them.
I remember talking to Andrew when we were having supper or lunch or whatever, and he just can't stop talking about Dogpatch, about how awesome that is. So yeah, he's a fan for sure.
Definitely.
Check out our friends at Muse Canada. They are a network of people in the creative industry. So if you are a musician and you need album artwork, there are graphic designers in the network. If you need a music video done, there are also videographers. Or if you are working on a video that needs music, there are musicians in the network as well. We are part of the network as well, so we can help distribute vinyl records, for example, but we are also a member with our podcast. So if you go to the website muse-canada.ca and you use the discount code FunkyMoose2021, you will get a discount on your membership.
When is Moosefest?
August
August
6th this year.
Okay, but you know what? That's after mine, so I'll make sure and go online. I'll be and it's just where is it at?
We're
Bellevue.
hosting it at the Bellevue Sports Ground right in town here. So we're I've got Madsen Fence is coming out and we're fencing off the entire sports ground where the 2 ball diamonds are, fencing it all off, 6-foot fence. So like if you don't have a ticket, you're not getting in, kind of thing. And the music's going to start around 1 p.m. on the 6th and run till about 10:30 at night. We've got 8 bands booked for it, and it's going to be just nonstop music for like that duration of 10, 11 hours or however long it goes, right? So it's all about the camaraderie and getting the people out and just having a good time. You know what I mean?
Well,
oh, dude, it's going to be a blast.
I'll camper and I'll bring the girlfriend and maybe, I don't know, shit. I'll talk to the Dogpatch gang. There probably could be about at least 10 or 15 of us anyway.
Oh, hell yeah, man. I haven't, like you said, when you're first in it, like I've been talking about Moosefest for like 2 years now. Like I wear it on my sleeve, man. You know what I mean? It's like everything.
100%.
Yeah. Anytime I talk to somebody new or meet them, I'm like, you coming to Moosefest? You coming to Moose? Like, it's just, that's all I fucking talk about, man. I love it so much.
Did you buy a ticket yet?
Yeah.
For what? Moosefest?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how'd you guys come up with a name? What's that all about?
Well, Funky Moose Records is my company, and it's an online record store. So Moosefest. Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen you guys online for like years. Absolutely. I've got like, well, when you guys come, I probably got 700 or 800, vinyl records. Like I run vinyl and stuff here a lot. I've got my collection, my parents' collection, like everything from the last 60 years, right? And
oh, hell yeah.
I don't know if you know any of the gang from Dirty and the Perks.
Yes. Yep. As a matter of fact.
Well, we don't know him. I don't know him personally. Do you know him personally?
I feel like I might know 1 or 2 of the members.
I just know them through Prehistoric.
Well, I actually had, we were here one night, we were hanging out, partying and doing what we do at festivals. And we came in to the house and I'm like, okay, you guys pick whatever album you want. And one of the Perkins fellas, he grabs this like early 70s Fleetwood Mac. This is before Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks. This is when they were a blues band, right?
Yeah.
And it was one of my dad's albums. I'd never heard of it. He threw it on and it's them alive in like this like blues bar in Chicago in like 1971.
Yep.
And the environment that we were in and how we were feeling, it was like, oh my God, it was like it was like we were there. It was awesome.
I love that shit.
Is it that album with the green cover?
Oh no, it's not a green cover. It's like it's live. It's like Fleetwood Mac live at something, and it's got different shots on the front. It's amazing. But I'm like I'm like an 80s and 90s kid, right? I was a punk rock kid too in the 90s, and I go to like festivals like Riot Fest and shit in Saskatoon. So my music spectrum goes from Stompin' Tom to like No Effects to Dago Abortions back down to Sarah McLachlan. Like it's everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, I love that shit.
Yeah.
I do. So how did Dogpatch begin? Like, what was the initial drive to, you said that because you wanted to bring the farmers together because they were.
Well, yeah. But so in the early 80s, my parents actually started doing a party. I think they did 2 or 3 of them, and they would just bring a DJ out. And they called it Dogpatch Pig Roast. So there's a bit of history behind the name if you're interested in the history, but
yeah, 100%.
Back. So the community that I'm in, actually what it was people kind of settled this place in the 1930s. And when the Depression hit, a lot of people, they couldn't make it in the city, right? So the government made like kind of make work projects. And there was a railroad right that was coming through this part of the country, and they put people to work for like, you know, pennies a day kind of thing. But when you came out, you got like so much land, and you could grow a garden, you could, you know, you could eat, you could hunt deer, you could do whatever you wanted. So folks came out here, they lived through the Depression. Like, I think there's like maybe 30, maybe not even like 20 families in this community now, but back in the 30s, there was probably like 700. They all came out here, they all lived in the bush. Once the Depression was over, a lot of the people moved back to like Saskatoon, and a good, maybe, I don't know, an eighth of that stayed here. But everybody kind of lived like hillbillies, and there was a cartoon called Little Abner. And in that cartoon, there was a place called Dogpatch, and that's where all the, you know, the hillbillies and shit lived. So it was supposed to be a derogatory term, but people out here wore it as a badge of honor. They loved being hunters, trappers, and whatever, right? So yeah, Dogpatch was the thing. When we moved here in '73, my dad was in the Vietnam War in the States, and he was wounded. He had cousins in Unity, and he just wanted to get the hell out of the States because fuck that place, right? And he ended up a quarter section of land here in homesteading, and he ended up meeting my mom, who already had me, and he adopted me, and we moved up here in '73. And so I was fortunate enough to like grow up around all these old guys that were the guys who settled this place. They were trappers, hunters. They lived in like little one-room trapping shacks in the bush and stuff. And they always talked about Dogpatch. So that gets back to where mom and dad wanted to like keep it real and call their pig roast Dogpatch. So in 2013, I did before I did the festival, I did an actual pig roast, just like mom and dad did, made t-shirts and stuff, and brought the whole community together like I wanted to do originally. And then I'm like, holy shit, right? I can probably do something because I'm a huge fan of festivals. 2014, boom, I brought in 20 bands and started doing it, right? Like, thanks to Graffiti Music, I met Trent that runs graffiti right off the bat, and he just started hooking me up with awesome bands, and the rest is history.
Right.
I mean,
Sweet.
and now I have a festival grounds in my backyard. Like, literally, we built permanent infrastructure, right? Like stages, and I'm building a 40 by 60 beer garden here, so that, right, it's there with like a stage in there for the end of the night, and I've got a volleyball court, got kitchens, and it's all,
you know,
all my backyard.
I love it all. Like, as we start doing like Moosefest, for example, and stuff like that, I keep thinking like that's the Bellevue Sports Ground, particularly, like it's in relatively great shape. There's minor things that need some upkeep and stuff like that. And, we're in a community of like 100 people here. So there's not like a lot of money to put to those types of things. Right. And I see stuff like that too. Like, if we're going to do Bellevue Sports Ground for the home of Moosefest more frequently, in my head, I'm like, oh, fuck, we can build a stage over there and it can just stay there so that when we do future events, we don't have to rent a stage to get hauled out here. We'll just have one. Stuff like that. Right. And
and it doesn't have to be ours per se, but if it's there,
well, yeah, like the community can use it, but that would be like the main stage for Moosefest is right there, like the home up. So yeah, I definitely, I admire the shit out of you for doing that and like building that stuff, like beer gardens. That's great. That canteen at the sports ground could use some major upkeep for sure. I think this, like, so there's a canteen there. Like I said, there's ball tournaments and stuff like that. But we're not using the canteen for the beer gardens. Like, what my idea with that is, there's like, I don't know, 3 or 4 bay windows, where you sell your burgers and fries and liquor and stuff. What my idea is, that's where I want the bands to set up their merch tables, is in there. So they can venue that. And we're just like, fuck it. We're putting the beer gardens right like in the ball diamond. So you can still see the show and drink and have a good time, stuff like that. Right. Yeah. So we just making it work.
Exactly. Like, I've made my idea is to max out at 2,500 people and then just sell out every year. Right. Because it's not like I'm right in the Bronson, like I'm right in the Boreal Forest. So I don't have like 5,000 or 6,000 people throwing their stuff. Like, every year that I've had this thing, I've never had any more than 3 garbage bags full of stuff left behind. Everything's cleaned up, put away, never had to do anything. And the most people I had, probably 2016, we had 1,000 people out here. And I mean, but we had the Harpoonist, the Axe Murderer, Coulter Wall, the Dead South. Like, it was crazy lineup, right?
Yeah.
And zero garbage, man. Like, zero garbage, because everybody just respected, right?
I'm hoping for that. I'm not sure if we went. Do you know what the max capacity at the Ball Diamonds is? I think it's like 1,500, maybe. That might even be pushing it.
No, I think it's more than that.
You think so?
Yeah.
Interesting. My goal for this year is 500. I'm totally and like shit, man. If I get yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah, definitely. But if we don't hit that 500 mark, like, it's not like we're not going to do it again next year. We're already talking to bands for next year already, getting them lined up.
Again.
You know,
it's happening again. Like, the amount of tickets we sold so far makes me think, well, we'll do this again, period.
Yeah, we're already at the number. So last year was our first one, and I think I mixed this up a bit. I don't remember if it was 167 or 176 people. I don't remember. It's one of those two, the 6 and the 7. I keep mixing, but
total with everyone there.
We're already there this year, and we're still like 6 weeks out, or like 2 months away. So it's like fucking A.
I don't think I've sold that many tickets. Like, pre-sale. I don't think.
Yeah.
So good job. Like, yeah, you know.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I'm so excited.
Like, oh, dude, like, absolutely. Well, yeah, I'll make sure to put it on my calendar. I'll go online. I'll get tickets, and I'll be there 100%. I love going to new venues, new things. Like, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's like the way like the community's pretty on board with it too. Like, we haven't gotten any flack for it, and of course in our heads we always relate it back to like Craven. Like, Craven started in a ditch, right? So it's why can't we do that here?
Yep.
You know, like, I'm not saying Bellevue is like a dying community, but I'm just saying, like, there's not much here. There really isn't.
Yeah.
And this could be just a giant opportunity to bring things into the town and maybe generate a little bit more income for the town. And it's just positive. Everything about it is positive. And from my point of view, you know, like, I can't see any fault, unless people get all shit crazy and fucking break shit and vandalize and stuff like that. But it's like
Boomstock.
Yeah. But I'm not expecting any of that to happen. Like, the relationships that we have with the people and the fans and the artists themselves, like, everybody's just solid people, and that's why we're booking them.
Yeah.
Everybody we've got for the lineup last year and this year have been guests on the show, which is kind of where we met them originally and just legitimately became friends with them. Like, true friends, where we can call them up and, hey, fuck, you want to go for a cup of coffee? Like, let's do this, right? And because of that,
like you guys are buddies with Aspen, right?
Yep. Yes, I was gonna say earlier, another one who's been advocating pretty hard for Dogpatch is Aspen. Like, I'm fucking tight. I'm gonna see him tomorrow night. I'm gonna be hanging out with him tomorrow night, actually. Like,
he's one of the cool, like, just like Andrew and like Three Story guys. Oh my God, Aspen's like such a good dude, man. 100%.
Yeah. He was League of Wolves was one of the, would you say, bigger bands that we had at the start?
I think they were all three were pretty.
Everybody. Yeah. It's hard to categorize the height of the performer.
I don't want to do that either.
No, it's tough for me because, like I said, I think of all these guys as close friends, right?
Have you heard about our new radio station? It's called Funky Moose Radio, where we play alternative and indie rock, sprinkle in some blues and Americana. We feature the music from our guests on this podcast at least once per hour. These songs can be in any genre. We're working on getting the station on every mobile app available, but the easiest way to listen is at funkymooseradio.ca. You should also become a VIP because we'll be giving away some prizes. Again, check it out at funkymooseradio.ca.
Have you guys ever done anything with Burke Jodine?
Yeah, we actually we went to Skull Creek Studios and did an episode there with Burke and Will Ardell. And then we recorded them.
So both Burke and I were forest firefighters together, hey? Like, he's from where I'm from. He's from Pierceland. I'm from here. And yeah, man, we jumped out of helicopters and shit together for like, I did it for 10 years. I think he did it for like 4 or 5. But we go back like 20. Yeah, man. Like, yeah, Burke and I are super tight too. And the stuff he's doing now with the Métis stuff it's amazing. So
right, you've got him on the bill for this year too, right?
Oh yeah, he's one of those guys that's here like every year. And then Romeo Klein, if you know Romeo at all. So Romeo plays, he's a great big dude. He plays guitar with Romeo. So if you saw Romeo, then Burke would have been playing with
Okay,
him.
I'm not familiar with Romeo.
His name rings a bell.
Romeo plays probably different bands in Saskatoon, right? Like, he's like a pinnacle part of the Saskatoon music.
Okay.
Yeah, his
like
name rings a bell. He's like,
all the
I think we had a guest that played with him, but I don't remember who though.
Yeah.
Patrick, maybe?
Don't
I don't know.
But a lot of these guys, I mean, I've been buddies with for like 20, 30 years, right? So we go back like forever. And it's such a cool community, right? You know what I mean? Like, anytime we all get together, it's just like, fuck family reunions. This is like way cooler.
Yeah, 100%, man. I can totally relate with all of that.
Yeah,
for sure. That's like, I went to Whale and the Wolf on Saturday night, and
those guys have played here like twice.
Oh man, yeah, they're actually coming on the show in a little bit here too. We got them booked on the podcast, and I'm going to Regina to go see them again. But I walk into Amigos, and before I even like check my ticket and stuff, I see Andrew Dyna sitting right there, and he's just smiling at me. And Kit from Old Souls came with me that night, so I'm hanging out with Andrew and Kit. And then,
were you there? What was that, Halloween? At Amigos?
No, I've only been to Amigos twice. The first time was for the Garys, and then the second time was this last Saturday. So then, yeah, I'm hanging out with so I'm hanging out with Kit and Andrew, and then this waitress comes over, and I'm like, fuck, she looks familiar or whatever. Turns out that was Velours, who was our guest on the show like just a few weeks ago. So then the three of us are kind of hanging out, and the Radiant was playing. And when they were done, I'm just hanging out with them the rest of the night. Like, fuck, man. It was all like, we all knew who each other were, and we were all just having a blast, a good time. Oh man, it was a great night.
It seems to happen a lot where when we walk into like a show and these small shows, we always run into someone that we either had on the show or we know of from a band or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's
oh, I love it. I freaking love it. And like I said, like these are
the last time I went to go see Whale and the Wolf at Amigos, I got roofied. Halloween.
Are you serious? No way.
The entire show, man. Missed the entire show. So I can't remember who the opening act was because I was already I had like 4 beer in my system. That's it. I came to at 1:30 in the morning, stumbling around like Broadway, and when I came out, I was sober, but I had I lost 2.5 hours of my life.
Holy shit!
Holy shit!
I mean, but I've had them here twice, so they're actually the lead singer's family is from here. I actually dated his cousin last year. They're just such good guys, and those guys I think are gonna go. They're gonna go someplace.
Oh, yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah, because they're just
Well, I was messaging them on through Instagram, and we were talking about the podcast, and like I booked them for the podcast, and then just through social media, right? And I see them on Saturday, and I was there a little early. And I see this guy, I don't know, about 20 feet away. And I'm like, fuck, that's Ryan. That's the singer for Whale and the Wolf. So I figured I'm going to go say hi, introduce myself. Like, why not? Right. He knew who I was immediately, which was super cool. And then just legitimately so freaking kind-hearted, sweet guy, humble, like a lot of humility and everything. Like, I was just like, dude, you kick so much fucking ass. The worst is when you see somebody who's like, not thinking I guess with no humility. Somebody with no humility, I've got zero tolerance or patience for. Like, no, like who the fuck do you think you are, man? Like, you're just like me. right? And I'm coming to say hi. This guy just was the most genuine, kind-hearted person. I was just like, fuck, I'm coming back on Saturday. I'll see you Saturday night too, bro. Like, dude, that a huge fan of those guys for sure.
Another band similar to Wailing Wolf, like FKB, that's playing here this year. Oh my God. So they're actually out of Bonnyville, and the band's name, FKB, stands for Fort Kent Bar, which is a little strip club outside of Bonnyville, like in the middle of like a town of maybe 75 people. And there's always like, you know, the old story of the one-legged like stripper with the peg leg and shit on the thing. Like that's what they named their band after. And but they've been up for like, you know, Juno nods and stuff, and and plus they're also doing the like the CCR tribute band too, like Creedence Clearwater Reprisal,
right?
Too. So they're doing like a double that weekend. But you guys are gonna absolutely love hanging out with those guys. And
freaking right.
They're
the first concert I ever went to in my life, I was 13 years old, and it was CCR. That was the first concert it changed my world, man. Completely, like flipped it on its head.
First concert, man. For my first concert was 1976, was Billy Preston with my parents. So Billy Preston, like the fifth Beatle, right? Like Get Back, he helped the Beatles, right? Get Back. I'd never seen a black dude before, right? And this guy comes out on stage, and he's like, oh my God, he's like Elton John times 10 with the keyboard. He's got an afro that's like 4 feet tall, and I'm like, holy shit, right? I'm like, old. But my parents, David Bowie, Peter Gabriel, the band, like, man, I've seen so many people that thank Christ my parents are music lovers, right?
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
And all those guys are gone. Like, I mean, well, not Peter Gabriel, but Bowie's gone. But I saw him and Gabriel in '83. So for the Let's Dance tour, and I think Peter Gabriel was like the Shock the Monkey thing. Yeah, it was awesome.
Frickin' right.
Isn't that when you were born?
I was born in '82.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was 12. Yeah.
I'm the young one in the room.
I'm an old fuck. That's okay.
No, I love that, because I strongly feel like we're on the same like headspace, wavelength kind of thing, right? Like music wise and all that stuff. Like fucking rock and roll, dude. I love it. Yeah. I'll be honest. Since in the last few years, like since Marc and I started working together, my perspective on music has changed significantly too, because I was very stuck in like 90s rock metal, late 80s 90s kind of stuff, you know, like Metallica, Godsmack, fucking Tenacious D. I was that's like that's my jam, that kind of shit. When I'm in a real funk, I'm going back to the 90s and I'm playing it loud. But in the last couple of years, I listen to absolutely nothing but indie music. I'm like, my number one right now is like The Hour Hand, Weapons, fucking The Radiant. Now I'm just like so fired up with The Radiant. And it's like, what irks me is that I feel they're not getting enough recognition. Like they just haven't crossed that barrier for like to the big time. But shit's so different nowadays too than it was in the 80s, 90s. Like
there's so many artists out there, right? There's so many. Like I've listened, so I grew up, even in the 80s, I was listening to like The Cure. I was listening, you know, stuff that was kind of offbeat, right? Yeah, I listened to hair metal and shit. And as the 90s progressed, it was like Modest Mouse, Neutral Milk Hotel, like Built to Spill. Stuff was like, you know, my mind was being blown like by all these different like artists. And then you get these songwriters like Ryan Adams, not fucking Brian Adams, fuck that guy, but Ryan Adams.
Right.
I mean, and Jack White, holy fuck, his new album's absolutely off the charts. Like that shit is like, I mean, these guys are geniuses, right? And I mean, don't get me wrong, they're all doing pretty well. Like I'm sure even Ryan Adams and Jack White, they don't have to worry about their rants, but they're like, you know, like kind of, I guess what Dylan would have been back in the 60s, right? The shit that they write is just absolutely over the top. And then you get like a band like Mouse, right? That's, I mean, they're actually touring. I kind of want to go see them in Edmonton in August, I think, but there's so much good shit. And then there's the old school, like, I don't know, like I went to Riot Fest just to go see like Iggy Pop and No Effects, right? I got to see No Effects twice in one weekend. It was, but I like Pennywise, Bad Religion, Dropkick Murphys, like all that stuff. I was definitely a punk rock kid, you know.
Hell yeah.
But even like, but I listen to folk, I listen to country, I listen to everything, you know. Hell, you know, you'll even catch me along to the odd pop country song. I don't tell my friends, but whatever, you know.
I totally the same way. Like my not discography. What's the word I'm looking for? My, like, what I listen to, my catalog that I listen to is like anywhere from like Justine Giles to Jordan Pollard to, like, you know, it could be something soft and like folky, and then I'm fucking rocking out to Our Hand and Metallica, and it's like I'm all over the place too, man.
Same here.
I'm not gonna lie, I like Bieber. I like his voice. I like what he can do. People are like, what the fuck you like Justin? I'm like, because I'll throw him on sometimes, and my buddies are like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, oh no, it's just the Biebs, bro.
Oh dude, I love that so much. It's like
he's actually talented. Like, people throw him under the bus all the time, but he does it all, and he can do it all himself.
How that kid got famous, like a little kid on an acoustic guitar, and Usher was like, holy fuck, okay, this kid can rip it up. And of course, when you get famous, you're like, oh my God, that kid's got no talent. It's like, well, I think he does, like, or he wouldn't be doing what he's doing.
Exactly.
You know, that's it. I like it all. I like all of it, man. Like literally all of it. Not all of it, but you know, if it's good, it's good.
Okay, let me ask you, what's one artist / band that you just can't fucking stand? Like when they come on, you're turning
I got
it
one.
off.
Yeah, me too. Okay, hold on. Honestly, voice wise, Geddy Lee, can't do it. I love Neil Peart.
Okay.
Geddy Lee, like
Geddy Lee, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
I'm a percussionist, right? Neil Peart's like my god. He's fucking amazing. But Geddy Lee's voice just. However, I've been getting a little more back into it, and fucking Meatloaf. No Meatloaf for me.
Oh no way! I can fucking jam out some Meatloaf, dude. I totally can. Nah. That's hilarious. You? What do you got?
Neil Young, 100%. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
You
Can't stand
know what? I do love his like the stuff he did with like Crosby, Stills and Nash. He wrote Ohio, which is fucking amazing. But just how his attitude can eat shit.
Yep.
Right.
I worked
and that's the whole thing. Like his songwriting is great. I don't think he can sing per se. No, but the songs that he wrote for Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, that was good. I just don't like his voice. And then I saw his Netflix documentary, and I was like, "Fuck, man, you're an asshole." I'm done with you.
Right. I've got a couple of them. I'm always hesitant. The one of them, and people are gonna get pissed about this, but I don't give a shit. One that I have never been able to get into is the Tragically Hip.
Yep.
Never. I don't know what it is about them. I'm not saying that they're not talented or what have you. I'm just saying they are not for me. And it might be something stemmed from my past or whatever. Like we used to crack jokes about it all the time and everything. And they're one band that I hear those first few notes of a song and I'm like, nope, I'm fucking changing that station immediately.
They're like my fave. I love the. But
I'm so sorry, man. It's just
no, but there's some people that just fucking hate them, and I've got buddies that are like, fuck that shit, right? But I met Gord Dowdy a couple of times, and it's like, what a stellar human being. Like, just what a great guy. Like he was a good dude, and that's also the thing
music, right? It's like subjective.
It's
like,
subjective. Yeah.
what you like, I don't have to like.
Yeah. It's art.
Whatever.
That's what art is.
Exactly.
It's the eyes of the beholder, right?
Exactly.
It's 100%.
And with
I totally respect. I respect that 110%. I'm not like, oh my God, you have to like my band because, you know, I like my band. Like I like some weird shit that not a lot of people like. So I get it.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure. For sure. And you know what, being like, comes back to those artists being very humble and everything goes a long way.
Yep.
You know, I'm not saying they're bad guys or they're not talented. I'm just saying it's not for me. Like, that's just something I can't get into. That's all. And that also being said, if I had an opportunity to get the Tragically Hip to play Moosefest, you're fucking A rights. I'm gonna do it, right? And I'm gonna stand there and watch the show.
I don't think that's gonna happen because Gord Downey is
no,
not
I
with us
know,
anymore,
but I'm using that as an example, right? Like, because hey,
I'll make sure we're drinking beers when 100th Meridian is playing here. I don't know.
Okay.
They are like the best hip tribute band in the entire country, and they're from Saskatoon.
Really?
Like, the lead singer is fucking 100%. Rob McCarthy doesn't look anything like Gord Downey. He's like shorter with a big beard and tattoos and shit. But when he that stage, all of a sudden Gord Downey comes on and just takes over. It's fucked.
You watch now, they're gonna make now watch, I'll come back from Dogpatch and I'll be like, the hip's pretty fucking good. I kind of like the hip. 30 years of not liking them, and that
The Sit Down Podcast is brought to you by Funky Moose Records. Funky Moose Records is an online record store. We sell new and used vinyl records, storage solutions like inner and outer sleeves, and cleaning supplies from, for example, Groove Washer. We also sell turntables from Audio Technica and speakers by Kanto. And if you're in the market for a record, how about this one? The Northern Royals EP. It is on gold splatter vinyl, and it's available at funkymooserecords.ca.
I don't know much about the AC/DC like tribute artists I have, but fuck, I'm an old 80s metalhead, right? Of course I love AC/DC. So I am looking forward to these guys totally, just because I got AC/DC cranking in my backyard, like live. That's going to be great. And the Eagles is going to be great. Fucking CCR, obviously, like, I don't know. And then obviously I've got country because that's my demographic here, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I like, well, actually, so JD Bixby, I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He was a Canadian Idol guy, like 2008, and he was like a little, you know, like the pop country boy wonder.
Okay.
And like, he toured with all the big names all over the world, did his thing, did the Canadian Idol thing, and then, you know, kind of life went on. He got older and shit, whatever. I had him back here a few years ago, and we ended up becoming like best friends. And now he does like kind of like Elvis shit and rockabilly, and oh my God, well, you'll see him. Well, you'll hang out with him and drink with him because he's kind of like almost a family member at this point. But it's fucking crazy, like how some people, how some artists start out like one way, like I'm, you know, this pop country good looking, and now, you know, he's just him. He's like 30-some years old, wife, a bunch of kids, drinks a bunch of beer, doesn't look like the pop country kid anymore. Just doing what he fucking wants to do, and it's awesome.
Yeah, that's the best. That's the best. That's what it's all about. Just cheers, man.
So how do you determine which bands or artists you want at your festival? Is that personal preference, or is there some strategy behind it?
There is some strategy, and there's also, because I deal with graffiti music, so I look at, you know, first of all, the headliners. Who am I going to bring in that's going to, you know, bring a few people in, right? Like, and we've been really lucky at doing that in the past. Like I said, I mean, the Dead South, Coulter Wall right there. I mean, there's two heavy hitters. But the guy that owns Graffiti, Trent, he lets me know what he can get. And, you know, because I've whispered, that sounds fucking I've like asked him, like, you know, like about some names. Like I was thinking about Jimmy Rankin, right? Like there's a guy that I wouldn't mind having in. He's, you know, awesome. Core Blund was another guy. So there's guys, and then he tells me it's like, okay, it's gonna cost this much for, you know, him, or this much for you know, that guy. And we sit down and we decide kind of between me and Trent, okay, what the best strategy is. And then there is personal preference, right? Like if I see somebody I really like, I've seen videos online and I was like, fuck that, this kid's got to come play, right?
Yes.
I've got some amazing talent, like absolutely amazing talent here. That's I just because of a video, right? Like there's a guy in Winnipeg by the name of Skylar Bouchard. Google Skylar Bouchard and the song Montreal.
Okay.
It's kind of Bob Dylan-esque, but holy fuck, man, it just rips at your heartstrings. It's great. And probably somebody that, you know, and he's not that expensive and he'll come in from Winnipeg. So just do me a favor and watch it. And maybe that's a guy that you guys might be interested in.
Hell yeah, man.
And he on stage, over the top, so good. Just him and a guitar. He doesn't need a band. He's that good.
Hell yeah.
That's the thing. Like we share a lot, like so many musicians and stuff, right? We can help them. They can help us. It's just this. It's a circle, right? Like and
exactly. That's exactly what it's all about. Like, there's no reason for us to be in any type of competition at all when we're just fans of the music. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's all it is.
Yeah.
The only reason.
So bring a bunch of Moosefest stuff, like posters or whatever you want, and put them up on the grounds, man. 100%, dude. Absolutely.
Sweet. Fucking right.
For sure. And I'm like, even if you want to have a booth or if you like whatever, because like, so I don't charge my vendors anything. Dogpatch I'll never charge a vendor a penny. I don't, because they're
right
spoke for me. My vendors offer me a service. Hell, I give them stuff. If a vendor wants to come, I give them two tickets. They set up their stuff. I have 10 full-time vendor booths that I do. Once those are full, they bring their tents, because it's like a shopping experience then, right?
Yes.
And I go to other festivals. It's like, oh yeah, man, I had to pay like $1,000 to set up my booth. I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, that sucks. For me, that sucks. Now, for those guys, I get it. That's their business plan. I'm not calling them down. It's just that's something that I will never ever do.
Right.
Because they're offering me something, right? That's how I see it. Even tickets, right? I'm a shitty business guy. I'm like $100 for the weekend. And I'm always that way. I'm always going to be lower, because especially after 2 years of shit, like I'm going to see some festivals and they're cranking their prices up. I'm like, holy fuck. The price of gas is like, you know, more than a used car. Like, come on.
Yeah, for sure. We're actually, so we do have, like, we'll have food trucks on site and stuff like that, and we are charging for vendors. Like right now, what was it?
Not a lot
No,
though.
it isn't much. It's just like $200 for the whole weekend. So like, come up, set up on Friday, take down on Sunday for like $200, and like any profits you make are yours. Like, that's it.
That's exactly what I used to charge, man. I used to charge $250, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, it just got lazy, and I was like, you know, fuck it. I'm trying to bring more vendors. Maybe one day I will again. You know, like if I get that 2,500 person mark, maybe I will charge $200 again. But I don't know. I just love that. And if I end up having 50 vendors, I'm like, fucking cool, right? It's like a whole other.
It is. Yeah, for sure. I might have to get some. I might have to get some vendor names off of you, because currently, right now, I think we've only got one at this very moment in time.
You mean the food truck?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got one.
Oh yeah, you know what? So for food, all I have is I've got my buddy that runs a kitchen here, and I don't do until I get bigger and he can't handle it. My buddy's running all the food. Then I might do some like desserts or ice cream, but right now my buddy Travis is running everything.
Oh,
and
nice.
He has a catering business in Metal. Awesome, but because I don't like, what if I only have 400 people and I have like 6 food vendors and nobody makes any money?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Then, so I would rather Trav just be run off his feet and have to go back and get more stuff and just give her shit. Right.
Yeah.
Like that's, if I get people, then cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then he's gonna bust his ass and make a lot of money.
For
So,
sure. Like,
Yep.
like where we're at with ticket sales right now, I'm pretty confident that one food truck that we've got locked in would be sufficient.
Yeah, I would just like to have at least one other one so that people have
An
a
option.
choice.
Yeah.
It's-
Oh, I get it. I understand totally.
but it doesn't help
I-
that there on the day of Moosefest there is a thing called Food Truck Wars in
Oh yeah,
Saskatoon.
it's in Saskatoon or Prince Albert.
Saskatoon.
Yeah.
So all the food trucks are in Saskatoon, not here. So that's why it's
dude, there's
tough to get.
something, right? Always something.
Isn't that-
like summer this long? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Isn't
So
that
it's
that
always-
almost seems like that would be bad business for that food truck vendor to go and do that? Because like, how much money are they going to make there when there's like hundreds of different food trucks? Or you can come to Moosefest and be like the
make
only
money.
one and
Yeah.
make all the money.
Yeah.
Like, like, come on, you guys, it's a business,
Yeah, exactly.
right? But yeah, no, man, it's gonna be. Oh, I've had ideas of like, fuck, we're gonna get like a little roller coaster for the kids
Yeah.
over there
Yeah.
and the other ball diamond and like Ferris wheels and
Oh,
slip and slides.
Yeah.
And, but dude, it's not happening this year. So just so you people know out there,
I
there
know.
will be no Ferris
Maybe
wheels or
next year.
slip and slides.
Maybe
Maybe a
next year.
slip and
I
slide.
I've always wanted a Ferris wheel, but then I looked into so the guy that's helping me now, he's kind of worked his way into being my partner pretty much. He's doing the renos in my, like right now, dude, my fucking house is like flipped upside down. I'm doing full renos. I got to do my mom's funeral on the 25th and have to build a 40 by 60 pole barn before that and
Holy
finish the
shit.
renos. My floor rotted out of my house. And it's like, and then plan for the funeral, plan for the festival, try and sell my mom's house. It's just crazy, right? And it's
Yeah.
like, this festival's always been me and my mom, right? And so my mom was kind of like the Dogpatch. She was like a 72-year-old hippie, right?
Right.
Friends would come in, sit down with her bowl, and hey, you guys want to have a hit, kind of thing. Like that was my
Yeah.
mom. And yeah, so it's kind of an emotional year for me too, because right, like holy fuck, there's like one epic part of this whole thing that she's not here anymore. So it's like, okay, now you carry on, you do your thing, and I don't know, it's and so much shit's going on and trying to get it done on time. It's like plus working full time, right? So
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
it's but it's awesome. Like I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
I can totally relate to all of that. Can I ask so what else do you have that's like involved in like organizing and setting up? Like, cause you're about a month out from the event, right?
Yeah.
So
That's
is there any like major things that you still need to button up and like close with?
Yeah, and what haven't we thought of?
Yeah. Do you have any tips for
Well,
us on that?
honest, so we're just getting together because I've been, like I said, I've been way too busy to get anything done. But getting my volunteers, I know like they usually just come together kind of last minute, right? I run with not a lot of volunteers. Like I'm lucky if I have 10 or 15 volunteers and we get shit done. Like it's amazing. There's a thing called like, I don't know, too many volunteers, right? Because there's people that'll come in and they just take advantage of the free tickets. And they don't really do much. So if you have people that you know and you trust that bust their ass, like, oh yeah, man, I can run a festival that'll have 1,500 people. I can do it with under 30 volunteers and do it good, right?
Yeah.
And then have your security team. So depending on who you get and what you spend on that, you have a couple of medics. Like it doesn't really take a whole bunch. So
right. Oh, medics is something we haven't thought of.
Right.
yeah, it's good. Yeah, you should have like a couple, and you can just get them volunteer, right? So
Yeah.
Yep.
Like a first responder even.
Well,
yeah,
we know 2 of them.
no,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. No, that's definitely a good tip, because that's like we've got our fence in place, we've got security in place, we got the stage, we got the sound, we got the bands, we've got a food truck, we've got merchandise. It's pretty much it. I think
Camping.
campgrounds available. I think
Who's doing?
The security.
No, your sound. Who's doing your sound?
Oh, we got sorry, you cut out there. We've got Trisonic Sound out of
Yeah.
Prince Albert. It's
Joel
gonna help
Rose.
us out. They helped us out last year. So that's
I will tell. So I switched my sound only because I'm like working with a local guy. I mean, the best sound guy in the province is Jamie Peaver Productions, hand down.
Yep.
And I've had Jamie for years. I just I cut costs big time, and a guy from here in Meadow Lake, Lee Bell, and he's a musician himself, right? So yeah, he got me a hell of a deal, and I feel shitty because I know Lee's the best, like, or not Lee, but I'm sorry, Jamie is the best in the province.
Right.
So if you ever get to work with Peaver Productions, yeah, thumbs up.
Jamie, does Jamie also do sound for the Capitol?
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I know who that is.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. No, we got
yeah.
Yeah, we used Joel last year for our first Moosefest, and he runs he's got his own festival as well, Chesterfest, in Prince Albert.
I've talked to him, yeah, 100%, yeah.
Yeah. So
we've talked about you back and forth.
Yeah, so that guy's freaking awesome,
He's
man.
good
And
shit.
he's got so much shit on the go. I think right now, if I'm not mistaken, that he's in Toronto with Jake Vatalan right
Is
now.
he?
I think so. Or maybe that was last week.
Oh yeah, he is. You know what?
He is, eh? Yeah.
He
Yeah, you bet.
sent me because he wants me to bring Jake in here next year. And
Yeah. He's so good, hey? A lot of talent there, that guy.
Yeah.
The guys that play with Jake, so the family, because they're like kind of a gospel family or whatever. So the the Admonson family, they're gonna play on the Sunday here. Actually, we're gonna do like a gospel thing in the at noon or whatever for folks if they can't go to church. Then I mean, I'm not a church going fellow myself, but for the folks that are here, right, you can bring in. But it's like bluegrass stuff. So I'm like,
right.
And I've got Eliza Doyle this year. I don't know if you guys know who Eliza is.
Yes, I know. I had a good chat with Aspen about that. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm
man,
excited. I'm excited to see her.
Well, and she played with the Dead South for 2 years when the other banjo player went and did his thing. And she's actually from here originally. So like her parents knew my parents and all that stuff. But
oh hell yeah, we should get her on the show.
Yeah, we should.
I'll talk to her at Dogpatch. I'll talk to her at Dogpatch.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, she's like pretty much like the quintessential bluegrass artist in the entire country. Like that's who you want to talk to for sure.
Hell yes.
And yeah, I know she'll go on your show without a doubt.
Freaking right.
She has her own. She has her own festival too, huh? Doyle Fest.
Yeah, she does Doyle Fest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
Absolutely. Yeah. So hers is so cool because what happens there is all the money raised goes towards like music education and like up north, right? Like Stanley Mission, and then she'll buy they get like a truckload of instruments, bring them up to these northern communities, and then work with the kids and stuff up there and show them how to play stuff. She's an amazing individual. Absolutely
cool.
Lovely. You'll get absolutely talk to her while you're here because she's actually going to be here. She's performing Friday, but she's going to be here all weekend. Like she's going to be working with the kids and running workshops and yeah, man.
Oh man, I'm excited. I'm very excited to go and see it for sure. Definitely.
Yeah,
as I'm excited.
I mean, it's like all the musicians that I work with, and I'm sure you guys are probably the same. they have to move me emotionally, right? If they don't move me emotionally, they'll never be back a second time. But I have so many people that keep coming back and coming back and coming back just because the crowd loves them. I love,
Right. Yeah.
It's
yeah, for sure. This year for us, we kind of made it specific that we weren't going to go with any of the same artists that we had last year. Like, we're meeting new artists on a weekly basis. Like, we've got a pretty big Rolodex of different artists out there that we want to try and help. Right. So for this year, last year we had, what did we have? Four bands?
Four, yeah.
And now we've got 8. And next year we're tossing around the idea of going a 2-day event, 2-day festival, because it's going to fall on August long weekend. So even just for that, like, it's going to be even more. And I don't, maybe like a 5th anniversary or a 10th anniversary, we can call back like the Steadies who helped us like orchestrate the very first one, maybe something like that, or 7 Mile Sun. You know what I mean? Do you know who he's got emceeing at Dogpatch this year?
Yes.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
Can you tell the people listening at home who you've got emceeing?
Well, so it's not the whole weekend, but it's Saturday. But yes, I do have Conway Kootenai coming to MC on Saturday.
Oh, that is so fucking deadly.
I think you're deadly.
That's
That
deadly.
is so deadly.
Deadly.
So
Double
It is
deadly.
I can't wait to see that guy. That's cool. How did
Well,
you
see,
line that up?
Well, so where I live, right, like there's probably 2 or 3 reserves around us, and I've always been inclusive. I want to make sure that Indigenous and non-Indigenous communities come together and hang out, right? Because it's honestly not a thing. When you go to a lot of places, you have the Indigenous stuff over here and the non-Indigenous stuff over here.
Right.
Whereas with this, so many of the tickets that I've been selling, man, are all from the north, and from well, like you say, even last year, like I did a wedding for a couple here on the reserve, and I just said, you know what, man, it's free. You guys come out. I'm going to do it because I knew her dad, and he had passed away and whatever. And I'm like, you know what, he's not here, so fuck it. Let's make sure that you guys have a good wedding. And it just kind of opens the door, because there's so much racism on both sides still in 2022. It's fucking crazy, right? And I'm just hoping to let everybody know that, hey man, like, that's just a skin color. We're all here to do this thing together. And that's what warms my heart, because it's working. We're all hanging out, we're all doing our thing, and racism is out the fucking window. So it's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Love it.
Conway, and then he was just, well, I mean, I just went online and found them, right? Like, hey man, would you do this? Like, yeah, fuck, I'll do it. I'm like, okay, well, let's do it then,
Sweet.
Oh yes, those are the best. That's how we get a lot of the guests on the show too, is like, I'll just find them online and be like, hey, we got this show, this rinky dink show that we do once a week. Like, you want to come hang out with us? It's not an interview. We're legit just going to hang out and talk shit for like an hour. Right.
Did you see the comment I made to
I
Cheyenne?
did. Yeah. I saw that.
Yeah.
It's funny too, because we keep specifying that this isn't an interview. And then people are like, oh, check out the interview that we did. And then we're like messaging them. It's not an interview. But yeah. Too good.
No, I know. This is actually great. I love this whole, well, it's very, this is something like Prehistoric would do, right? Like, those guys are very similar to you guys. It's just, let's get people out there, let's get the real shit. And Andrew's been filming stuff since I started, since 2014, and he is releasing, like, Prehistoric's releasing a documentary at some point about Dogpatch.
Oh, fuck it.
It'll be like half an hour, 40 minutes, right? And it's so cool because he's got, like, well, both my parents were alive when he started getting it, and like, when he started filming. So it's like this whole thing. It'll be, fuck, by the time it's released, it'll be almost 10 years, right? Like, that's super cool.
Oh, no doubt. We have them. We're working with them too for Moosefest. So our whole thing is, well, the idea at this moment where we're all on the same page is the artists that are on the main stage will get to pick 3 songs of each one of their sets, right? And then Prehistoric's going to film those 3 songs and do something with that and give it to the artists so they can release it however they want for whatever content
100%.
they want to do. Yeah. And then we'll get some footage on it for like B-roll footage and then make something similar. Like, you know, this was Moosefest 2022. And then we'll have that to release, that kind of thing. So yeah, they came out last year and we got a little bit of B-roll footage for that. We didn't want them to come to work. Neither. We wanted them to enjoy themselves, but yeah, they got some shots out there and did some stuff for us. And we were like, all right, let's both profit from this. Like, let's, you know, we'll pay you to do this for the artists and promotion for the artists. And yeah, I love working with those guys, man. They're like, I talk to Andrew like every fucking day. I swear to God, I bug that guy every day, man. I love him so much.
And then another idea is to do the audio version, maybe not this year, maybe next, is to record the complete audio set and then mix it and put it on a record and then release it as an album. So for example, if Weapons, who's coming this year, if Weapons wanted a live album, they can release it as Weapons live at Moosefest 2022,
and then do that for all the artists or whatever.
That's the idea.
Yeah,
that's a cool angle that you guys have, like especially having like the record company, man. That's dope. Like that is so good, man.
Yeah.
But and then speaking of those guys, they told me about Moosefest and they're like, oh man, you got to check this out. Like they've said nothing but absolutely amazing stuff about you guys and about, you know, everything you do and the festival and stuff. So I was 100% in as soon as I talked to Andrew.
Oh, hell yeah, man.
Cool.
Yeah. So big shout out to Prehistoric Productions and Skull Creek Studios, because we were talking about Aspen.
I will absolutely. I'm going to come and I will support you guys. And like I said, come advertise the shit out of Moosefest at Dogpatch.
Yeah. Oh, we definitely will.
And
Cool.
You are a part of this family as well. I want you to know that.
Yeah.
That like
sure.
anytime you want to come on here and shoot the shit and just talk about music or anything, like this door is going to be wide open for you.
Even if you don't want to do it on camera and just talk to us, you can.
Yeah. It doesn't. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't have to be on camera. You can just give me a shout sometime if you want to shoot the shit, or if we're in the city together. I'd love to grab a bite to eat. But Marc, this was a real honor and a pleasure, my man. I appreciate the shit out of you. And
yes, and we can probably talk for another hour and a half or whatever.
Yeah, just promise us. You know what we should do is let's get you back after the festival and we can talk about the festival some more.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sounds good, man.
That's what we'll do. And maybe we can get Suzanne on there too.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
On that one.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, she wanted to. She was just busy tonight, but absolutely.
100%. So
Cool.
I want you to know that this door is always open. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person, and mark my words, like I'm gonna be at Dogpatch. I almost said Chesterfest. I'm gonna be there too, but I'm gonna be at Dogpatch this year. I'm really looking forward to it, man. So like all the props to you, buddy. 100%.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Oh, for sure. To you also, before we let you go here, can you just let the listeners and watchers at home, like where can they get tickets, and where and when is the event?
When, where, how, etc.
Yeah, man. So Dogpatch Music Festival, July 22nd to 24th, and you can get your tickets at dogpatchmusicfest.com.
Excellent.
Cool.
Right on. But you stay on with us, and we'll say ciao to those of you watching at home. Thanks.
Adios.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Right. See you later, guys. See you later.